Going. Hello, everyone. Can anybody hear us? We're ready to kick this webinar off. Yes, this will be recorded on our YouTube channel, so you will be capable of coming back, but you're gonna be missing all the FOMO of being on the live session with us right now. Hello, we're gonna be given a few minutes for everybody to join in. We are happy with this inspired session. We're currently live on 3 different channels, so go to whatever feels best for you. We're live on Twitter, we're live on LinkedIn, and we're live here on YouTube. So hello again, everyone. Happy to be here. Martin, are you excited as well to be here?
Yes. Yeah. We have so
Good,
many
good.
good things to show you.
We have a lot of goodies, which is always exciting. I think the people are excited. I'm seeing a lot of comments about people who are passionate about nodes. So that's cool. So yeah, I think we can get started. Well, as many of you, I think, familiar with me, I'm Sophia, head of social, and I'm here with Martin, Martin Leblanc, our CXO. And yeah, so I think we can get started. I'm trying to find my slides. I don't know if people can see them.
I'm sharing them already. 1 second.
Hold up.
There you go.
You know, isn't it really a webinar if we're not having like technical issues? It never is. Okay, good. We're here. So we're gonna be sharing what's new and what's next. We have new features. We have new models. We have a lot of updates that are coming, and we're gonna have, of course, time for a Q&A. Also, don't worry, we're gonna be sharing all the goodies that we are gonna be showing here at the very end. So sorry, guys, you're gonna have to stick with us to get all the goodies. This is like the very beginning. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm Sophia, head of social and community. Martin Leblanc here, chief experience officer. And I'm happy to say that probably like our top Spaces list heavy user at the moment, which is also like good. We're gonna be getting a top session from the top expert. And what we're gonna be covering today is, next slide, please.
Yep.
We're gonna be going through the workflow improvements, so we can see like how to get our workflows to be the most seamless. We're gonna be seeing improvements in the UI and collaboration and security, which is always key. We're gonna be testing lists, which is our brand new node that we just launched like an hour ago. I think you probably all saw the video. Amazing. So Martin is going to be showing you how to make the most out of this node because it's amazing, like the potential you can't even imagine. We're gonna be seeing the new models, which is nowadays a day-to-day thing in AI, so to say. But we're always happy to go through them, their novelties and everything that they make better for our creative processes. And then things that are coming, which is always super exciting. So yeah, Martin, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So we will start off by looking at some of maybe the smaller features, I would say, but a lot of them are really great workflow improvements. So we will look at favorites, variations, where you can create new storyboards, you can change camera angles. We will look at new updates to the model selectors, so it's easier to find the right models, and we will look at new multi-model mode. And then finally, we'll look at how you can work with templates. So I will just move to the AI Suite and give you a live demo of some of these things. All right, so I assume most of you are very familiar with the Freepik platform, and a lot of you have a feed that looks approximately like this, with lots of images, lots of videos, and it can be hard to figure out which ones to keep and which ones to discard. So we made this feature, which is very simple. Basically, whenever you have an asset you like, you can click like here, and everything is one click always. Click like here also. And then this is a little feature that I personally was very passionate about, that it had to be like one click also. So if you hit this one, you will then filter and get all your favorites. So it's really just really fast to kind of like create a lot of generations, hit like, filter them, and then you can move to the next stage. Maybe you want to move to video generation, but you can filter through everything very, very fast. So it's like an alternative to maybe moving something to a folder, which takes more clicks. So just a very fast way to work. The next feature I'm going to show you is around variations. So with variations, you have a few ways to access this new feature. You can go to any image, and then you can click Use. And then under Use, there's a new menu where you can say click Variations. You can also click the image itself, and then again Use, and then there's Variations here. And finally, Variations is also a feature that is accessible from your tools menu in the sidebar. So you click all tools, and then you go to variations, and then you can upload an image. So let's try doing that. So let me drag in an image here. So variations has a few different modes. It has a mode called Reframe. Reframe contains options for you to choose different camera angles. So you can, for example, here, if you can select up to, in this case, it's 9 different camera angles. If you choose a different format for the image, let's say widescreen, and maybe you want them to have this kind of widescreen format, you can only pick 3. So it depends a bit on what kind of size of images you want to create. The way that this works is that in the background, it uses Nano Banana Pro to first create a grid, and then from the grid, we automatically extract each of the frames into individual images. So I'm going to show you this in a minute, how that looks. The other options here, if we go into the menu here, there's also storyboard mode. So you can describe a story, and it works the same way. You can then get your story in this kind of grid and then extract the images. You can also choose to vary by, for example, if you are working with people, you can choose different demographics. You can choose, let's say, so here you can see you can check off different parts of the world. You can go here and say different expressions. And then you also have a custom mode, which is purely just prompt based. So you can just go crazy with any kind of prompt, and then it will create this grid for you. So I have a few pre-made examples that I'm gonna just switch to. So for example, in the first case here, this is an example of Reframe. So you can see here now we're using Nano Banana Pro to generate these different tiles based on the presets I chose. And then you can see all the extracted versions of these images. So this is a really great way for you to brainstorm on new camera angles, getting new ideas, and just using these presets in a great way. And let me show you another example here. So this is the storyboard mode, where you have the original image. It's the one in the middle here. And then it's creating, a timeline. I mean, it's probably not the most amazing story it came up with here, but I will always be able to modify that story by using a prompt. This was just in automatic mode. But you can see you can very quickly kind of like create a pretty cool video from these images. So this is variations. It's really a super powerful way to brainstorm and change, test camera angles and just move around really fast. Next feature I'm going to show you is around models. We know that a lot of the models can be difficult to pick the right one. So let's say we want to create a video, and let me just move to the video generator. And then we pick an image here. Oh, sorry. So we pick the image here, a start image, and then I go to the model selector. So we have 2 new features inside the model selector. We have a mode called multi-mode. So in multi-mode, I can now go in and use checkboxes here. So let's say I have 3 different models that I really like. I like maybe View 3, I like Kling 3, I like Grok, and let's say Runway. And then I hit save. I can use up to 4. And then as soon as I generate, that's a little bug here. As soon as I hit generate, I will then create 4 different videos in parallel. So instead of us waiting for that to complete, I think I actually have some pre-made ones here. So you can see here's an example where I use this video or image to create videos, and you can see there's now 4 different variations. You can even see they're bundled together in the bottom here, so you can see the 4 different ones, and you can sort of compare the results. So that's a really fast way to work with video generations in parallel and test which ones will work the best for your scene. The other feature that is now inside the model selector is if you choose a model, you want to choose a model and you want something specific, maybe you have a favorite provider, maybe you like Kling, maybe you like Google, you can filter on that now. You can also choose different features. So for example, let's say you want to do multi-shot, or you want to have audio, resolution, and then this one I really like, which is best for. So let's say you have some specific things that you're looking for. You want to have, maybe we have a few models that are really good at action shots or realism or maybe lip sync, and then you can find the models that fits for that. And then finally, also we have, of course, search. So you can search for specific providers. So it's going to be very fast for you to navigate between models now. And the last thing is around, if I move back to images here, let me just get that. Great. So let's say I have a character, and he is made up of a set of reference images. So maybe I have a bunch of reference images, and I have a prompt guy with a robot arm that I know works, and I always use a specific model for that. So I have sort of like, a set of settings here that I'm always going for when I'm using this particular image. And let's say I'm working, on a video, and I want to have character consistency. So this is sort of like my setup for my character. What I can do now is that I can save this, everything that is in the prompt area here. I can then save it as a template. So we'll do, just generate 1 second. So I have this menu here where I can say, it takes all the presets from the form. And then I can also add maybe a preview image. Let's just add the image of this guy. And we can maybe call it guy with robot arm. And save it. Now this will be accessible for me let me just wait for it to save. Just going to flip here. Up here, there's going to be, there's a tab now for templates. And then I have my template here. I can then hit use, and then it will reload all the settings for this particular character. So I can very quickly move between setting everything up in the form for the prompt and then reusing that as a template. If I want to share this with a colleague, so let's say I'm working on a team of a few people working on a film or products or whatever, I can always click share. And then I have the link to the template, and then I can put that on Slack or email, and then it will be accessible for everyone. So those were the workflow improvements. And I don't know, Sophia, have you seen any questions that we should answer now? Let's see.
Yes, I think I'm around here. Yeah, people are really happy about what they're seeing. Some of them were very familiar with variations already. They're big fans of variations. I'm seeing a lot of people who are happy about templates, that some of them already have their custom templates saved. I've seen some messages about having custom Muppet templates, which sounds exciting. And people are concerned whether if saving a template makes it private. The short answer is yes. You decide whether you want to make it shareable or not.
Yeah.
We've gotten some very interesting questions about having multiple reference images already saved. Somebody mentions, I'd love to be able to have a stack of some reference images, but only select which ones to use during a generation. So I think that's doable, right?
You can definitely have multiple reference images, in templates.
Yes, some people are reading about using multiple images for videos, which I think some models do, up to even 6.
Yep.
And people want to know if we can use templates in Spaces. So I'm assuming that they're going to be happy about like the next things that we're going to be covering in the webinar. So I'm not going to spoil that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so overall, people are happy. They really want to get like the hottest news. People have a really keen eye, and they're going through everything that you're doing on your screen, Martin. So no Freepik secrets can be spilled out in this demo. We have our secrets. We'll be sharing them in due time.
That's a guy asking about if you can duplicate and change the prompt for templates, and the answer is yes. You can load a template and then you can basically save it again, like make your own version. The idea with templates is basically like that you just load a set of presets and then you modify the prompt. So you can always like use a colleague's template and modify it, work on the prompt. You can save your own also. So I think templates is just like really great way to just work. It's very lightweight and just, speeds up a lot if you're kind of like working, especially I think on a video where you want character consistency. So you want to do the same thing often, maybe in new scenes and so on. Let's move on. We have a lot of stuff on the agenda.
Yeah, people were asking also about having characters in Spaces, which is definitely doable. We just simply use the add and have it. So yeah, let's dive into Spaces. I'm excited.
Yeah. So Spaces is our node-based tool, and I think a lot of you are familiar with it. But for the people who are not familiar with it, I'll just play a 1-minute video, and this will explain basically what Spaces can do, and then we can continue with the live demo.
Welcome to Spaces. It's your infinite canvas for creating workflows, automating creative steps, and collaborating with your team. Everything starts with nodes and connectors. Nodes hold your content, like text, images, or video, or tools such as generators or upscalers. Connectors link them together, showing how information moves through your workflow. This is how you build, step by step, from idea to the final result. Use a text node to write prompts or instructions. Use image nodes as reference images and inputs for generations. As your workflow grows, keep it clear and organized. Group-related nodes and use alignment tools to structure your space, so your ideas stay connected and easy to follow. Invite teammates to join, build together, and communicate directly in your shared space. And when you're looking for inspiration or ready-made workflows, explore templates. With that, you're ready to build your first space.
Great, so that is Spaces. And we have a new feature in Spaces, which I think is going to be really interesting for a lot of different use cases. It's very powerful. It's basically called the list node, and it enables batch processing. So a lot of the things that you might have, where you had to do like a lot of connectors or a lot of text nodes, a lot of things over and over again, it can now be automated with lists and batch processing. So I'll just go to let me go to the right tab here. So here we're going to try to build out a new workflow, and then we can see how that works. To access Spaces, you will be able to find Spaces on the homepage of Freepik here when you're logged in. You can also go to the menu of all tools, and then it sits in the others column. And from here, it's a matter of simply opening a new space. So let's do that. Now, for this particular workflow, what I want to show you is to, for example, working with ads and creating new versions of an ad, where we're going to try translating it to multiple languages automatically. So I'm going to put in an ad that I have done in Figma. So let me just add that one to the canvas. I'm just going to drag and drop that image into the canvas. And you can see here it has a logo at the top. We don't want to translate that. We want to translate the copy itself on the ad and also the copy on the button. And we don't want to anything changed in the background. So to begin with, so we added this image, and now we want to have a list of languages we want to translate this ad to. And to do that, we can actually start by adding it's basically like an old node we have had since launch almost, the assistant node. But the assistant node now has a new feature. So let's try adding a prompt to this one. So normally the assistant node only just, it outputs new text. It's sort of like an LLM or ChatGPT, where you just put in a prompt and then it gives you a response. So I'm asking it for creating a list of the 10 most common Asian languages. And what's new now is that you can choose to not only export as text, but you could also export as a list. So what will happen is that if I choose export as list and I hit run, it will now hit the LLM. In this case, it's Gemini in the background, and it will create automatically a new node. Let's just give it a minute. There we go. So this node over here, this is the new thing. So we have, you can see here, it took each of the languages from the list and then it split it out into an actual list where you can actually go in and change each item if you want. You can see the full list. You can also reorder them. So you can work with this as a list. You can also see that there are now 10 items at the bottom here. The list node has a lot of different possibilities. One of the things that you can do is that you can keep, let's say we want to add more languages. We can go back to the assistant node and then we can say, let's try adding also 10 European languages. And then now when I hit run, now it hits the LLM again, fetch all the European languages and send it to this node. And then because I have chosen to keep the existing items, now the number of items in the list is going to be 20. So you can keep like building out this list, but you can also choose to have a mode where it's actually replacing the items. So if I hit run again, now it should be overwriting whatever's in the list, and we're back to 10 countries or languages that are coming from the assistant node. So this is sort of like how you can populate node. You can also choose to just say, let's add Swedish. You can add it manually. And we're going to see that you can also input, you can put in images and videos into lists also. But now we have our list here. Let's remove this one again. Now we have our list with 10 languages, and we want to now translate the ad into these languages. So I'm going to open up an image generator, and we're going to use Nano Banana Pro. So Nano Banana Pro, as you know, is really powerful, and it can actually work with text. So we're going to connect the list to the text input here, and we're going to connect the image to the image generator. And now inside Nano Banana, we're going to write in the prompt here. So I'll just rename some of the nodes first, so it's a little bit easier to follow. So we'll call this one add, and we'll call this other one languages. And then inside here, we can then say translate our add to languages. And then we also we don't want to translate the logo. So we say, don't translate spaces as the product name, and then keep all graphics intact. So let's hit play on this. So here you can see that it will now create 10 generations. And let's also make sure that we have the right aspect ratio. And we hit play. So now what's happening is that the image generator is going through each of the lines in the list, replacing the reference to languages in that prompt, and it's now creating a new list node over here where it's filling in all the output, all the images. So once it's done, we will then have a nice grid of, so you can see here, this is the first ad. And you can have up to, in list node, you can now have, the limit is 200, I believe. So you can do quite a lot. And if you want to, let's say you want to keep working with a specific one, there's an option to say add to board, and then you can extract it like this. And once you are done with it all, you can also hit export on this one, and then you will get a zip file with all your ads. So if you're working with anything where you're kind of like creating variations, sort of like with translations, or maybe for e-commerce, there's a lot of use cases where you want to maybe combine a product with a model. This is a really great way to work. So now we can see that popping up. The final result would look like me show you like this, where we have all our ads, and I can hit download, and then I'll get in the zip file. So that's one version, and let me show you a different way to work also. So in let me show you here. So in this space, I'll just try also, as we saw with variations. So variations also work in spaces, and we'll just drop in the character from before. And once that's uploading, I'll just go to the, so I can right click, and then in the menu here, there's a new node called variations. So I'll add variations, and then I have my character here. I'm gonna connect him to the variations node, and then in the variations node, we have the same options as before. We have Reframe, Storyboard. We can choose the different camera angles, all the presets. And once we hit run, we will basically get, so we'll go from here, and then we'll have our variations. Once we generate the variations, there is this toggle here where you can say whether you want the images to be split or not. If you choose to split them, the output will then come out in a list node again. And then once you have a list node with images, you can connect that to a video generator, and then you'll have every single image here being run through an video generator. So you'll have all the different shots here, like animated. So this is a really fast way to move from, animating different camera angles or animating a storyboard and just working. You can see how few connectors. You don't have this kind of like spider web of connectors anymore. You can work way more in list than in bulk. So I think both in terms of like, translating ads, working with video, film production, there's a lot of ways where you can work with, the ads or the list node and batch processing. And let me show you a few tricks here. So there's a few options where you can do something clever, where you have, let's say we have a few images. I'll just extract them to the canvas. Take this one and this one. And I think this is one of my favorite features, I think. So let's say I have a whole, let's take some more actually. So we have, you probably already know, like, so if you have a bunch of reference images and you want to connect them to an image generator, normally you would do something like this. You would sit and then you connect every single one, right? And then you'll get really tired of connecting everything. What you can do now is that you can highlight them all. Let's just arrange them. You group them, and then you now see there's a group, or sorry, one connector here from the group. So now we actually have all the 4 images going to Nano Banana Pro as reference images. And I can even reference also a specific one if I want to use that. But now I can use 4 reference images, but only have 1 connector. So really cleaning up your workflow like this. Another thing you can do is you can go to create a list node. And then in here, you can add, let's say we want to add a few images. Let's take these guys here. So now I have a list node with my reference images, for example. What I can do now is that I can actually go to a video generator, and then I can just generate video where it's, let's say, rotate camera. So I want to actually create video with the same prompt for multiple images. I can now hit run, and then it will output 2 videos for me when it's done. So there's a lot of ways to work way faster, grouping things and so on, using either list nodes or grouping things like this and so on, just helping you so you don't have this spider web of connectors everywhere. Way less clicks. Great. I think there's one more thing actually. Let me just show you. So we have, as you know, Freepik also has like a lot of stock images. And we have also integrated the whole stock library now in Spaces. And I found this really fun use case. So for example, here, let's say we have my character, this guy, and I want him to stand in a specific way, I can now right-click, and then I can choose Find Inspiration. And Find Inspiration will now open up all this stock content, and then we can ask for martial arts. I want him to like kick in the air. I can pick this one, and then just add that to the canvas. And then because Nano Banana Pro is really great at using reference images, I can put in the reference image of how I want my character to stand. I have my character, and then I can simply ask my character to match the pose of the image here. So now I have my character standing exactly how this photo was. Yeah, I think that is it for the new features in Spaces. Lots of good stuff.
People are like crazy on the chat. Like a lot of them are asking like, well, what can, like, I think that the first thing that I can tell everybody in the chat is like, go try Spaces. Like that's the easiest, like the best way to get around, find if it's the best tool for your workflow, for that exact workflow that you have in mind. We have a lot of questions, Martin. I'm gonna try and go through the vast majority of them. People are concerned about credits.
Yeah.
We understand. That's why we had a pop-up come up. So don't worry about credits. I think you will get like a preview every time you run a node, no, letting you know the consumption credits. So you'll be
before you hit run, you always get the information about how many credits you're going to spend. And obviously, when you're working with lists, you have the risk of burning more credits. So you need to be careful, but you always see the total amount of credits you will spend when you hit run. So we already multiply the number of credits before you hit run. So just make sure you check the number of credits before you hit run. I think that's basically it. So
yeah,
why don't we take like more questions in the end? We have a few things we want to go through. We have I'm pretty sure that a few of you are excited about a certain video model.
There are some questions. Yeah. Well, everybody keep sending your questions and we'll go through them at the end, as well as sharing all the links about the templates and the spaces that Martin was sharing. So stay tuned.
Yeah. So I guess you all know about this one, right? So yeah, we're pretty happy to announce that this one is launching on Freepik today. So we have good integration with Kling directly. So we should have pretty good bandwidth. Of course, there's going to be like so many people trying Kling 3 right now. So you need to be a little bit patient. Probably there's going to be like high load and high demand. But of course, as you've seen probably already, it's an incredible video model. And I was in contact with a few guys about providing a great demo for this session. So I got in contact with a guy called Mike Isle, and he sent me this video. I'm just going to show you it too, so you can see what's possible with Kling 3.
It is true, my lady. They shall reveal it. They shall reveal it.
This cannot be. If the people discover the truth, then there is no return.
What will you have me do, my lady?
These generations are so realistic, the people won't stand a chance. We must stop this uprising any way we can.
I shall send word to the others.
Do it. We have no choice. Go now. Why? Why? This Kling 3.0 model is going to turn their worlds upside down. I must pray.
So thanks to Mark Isle for that video. The only thing we didn't, that was not Kling 3 in that video, was the background music that I added to the video. The rest, the audio, everything, multi-shot, everything was Kling 3. So it's an extremely powerful video model. And just to give you a sense of there are different variations of the Kling 3 model, but in general, this is the overview. You get text to video, you get image to video. You have the option of using multiple reference images together with reference video, which is amazing for basically motion control. And then we have video to video, which is basically video editing. So it's without a doubt the most powerful video model on the market right now. It's split into two different versions. So there's Kling 3, which is the one, or 3.0, which has audio generation. You can do start frame, end frame. So really great at this kind of more classical video generation. And Kling 03, which comes with, you can provide a reference video. So you can record yourself with an iPhone or camera, whatever, and then you can become a new character and so on. So very different, it's sort of like different models, but they are all bundled into the same release here. And it also comes with multi-shot, and this is just an example of a multi-shot prompt. So you basically just write, shot 1, whatever you like, you specify the camera background, whatever should be happening, shot number 2 and 3 and so on, and you will achieve character consistency, you will have the same consistency in the voice and so on. So super powerful to use multi-shot for, almost like a full scene of a video. Yeah, so Kling 3, super exciting release. There's a bunch of other releases that I also think is really important right now. So we have Grok, and we've been adding both Grok video and Grok image. We're going to see an example of that. You probably also heard about Runway 4.5, also equally impressive. We have a new set of tools that are helpful for different productions. So we have audio isolation. This one is really interesting. You can take a video and then you can provide a prompt, and then you can ask it to give me only the female voice of this video, or give me the background music, or give me certain things. So you can actually prompt, and then you can pull out certain audio tracks from a video, for example. So there's a really cool way if you want to work with existing video. We also have added, in the past we had a single topaz model, but now we added 10 different ones. We know that some of the video models or the topaz models are really great at close-ups, other ones are great at landscapes and so on. They all have different pros and cons, so we just added them all. They are all available in the video upscaler. And then finally, we have voice cloning, so you can record your own voice and then use that as a voice in the voice generator. Let me just show you an example of video editing where we are right now. So this is the original video where you can see the camera goes close to the hand. It's holding a rope. There's depth of field, really complex video. I just prompted remove the rope, and you can see here how well Grok did that. So removing the rope, no rope, but still all the visual effects, right? So Grok Imagine for video editing is really powerful also. And then there are some questions about credits, and we have some good news because we actually reduced the number of credits that you need for many of the popular models. So we reduced, for example, Nano Banana Pro in January, we reduced it with 70%. We've also reduced Google Veo 3, Kling models, and so on. And I also added here Kling 3, where you can see, depending on your settings, where it will sit in number of credits. It's not going to be that expensive. So I hope you will enjoy that. Great. And then just some of the final things. We are launching something called Freepik Academy. We have the first course ready. Everything should be on our YouTube channel. You'll get a link in the end of the webinar. We will also have the Freepik Academy platform built into the AI Suite, and that will be launching probably within a week. So you'll have a little learn icon in the sidebar, and then you can actually go and get all tutorials about basically any tool we have in the platform. And then finally, I wanted to just go over a new feature that is coming. So this is something that's coming in Q1. As you could see, for example, with the workflow we had for translating an ad, that workflow can be a little bit complex. Let's say you have other colleagues in a larger team and you want people to run a workflow. It's a little bit problematic sending them a complex space where they could mess up the workflow. So what we've done is that you can basically bundle an app or a workflow into an app. So you specify which part of your workflow should be an input node. So maybe you want to input the image and the list of languages. You specify that in your Spaces workflow. And then inside the AI Suite, you will then have a toolbox where you can choose your app that you defined. And then in the UI, you will then see only the input nodes that you need. So you will not see the whole complexity of the workflow, and you can way easier work. And so, for example, in this case, I could just upload a new ad, put in what kind of languages I wanted to translate to, hit generate, and then I get my 10 translated ads. So that is like really great way to hide sort of like the complexity. And just to end up with something interesting, we have just we have so many talented people from the community, and I wanted to highlight this guy. So he is essentially like a one-man army, I think. Kevin the Kid, he's doing a sort of like a mini TV show. It got millions of views on YouTube. The quality is crazy good. So I just pulled out 30 seconds of the latest video that he did. I think the video is like around 10 minutes long. You should try watch the whole thing. It's really great. It's called Chronicles of Bone, and we're just going to see 30 seconds of it, and to see really what you can achieve with the Freepik platform.
Not bad. Now let's do it again from 100 yards further. He didn't promise victory. He showed that the impossible could bleed.
We'll get the link also to this this TV show. You can see it on YouTube, but go support him. He's doing incredible work. Great. Yeah, Sophia, do you want to have any final words on maybe the next webinar or whatever we are going to do?
Yes, I'm not sure if you can hear me, see me, but yeah, I think people are crazy. I'm seeing a lot of happy emojis, people interested. We have lots of questions, and I'm super, super happy, Martin, to be sharing something right now live for everybody who's watching, and it's that Kling 3.0 is out right now on Freepik for everybody to go and test it. So please be mindful with our GPUs, like take care of it. Everybody wants to have a piece of Kling. You know, guys, take your time. But yeah, it's right now. It should be available for all of you. If you have all the info on the launch that we've just posted on social media, so go right now to Twitter, to all our channels to check all the information about it. And let's go through some questions if you're up for it, Martin.
Sure.
I think we're gonna have to go through them like a kind of a rapid fire because there's a lot. So we have people asking if we can use, can I use a video from a 3D editor as a reference to generate a video accurately and capture the camera movement?
Yes, that is a really good use case, and it's actually possible now. It was possible with Kling 01. You could provide like a reference video with Kling 01, and it's going to be possible with Kling 03 also. And I mean, there's a lot of we know that there are production companies. We can't name them right now, but we know that this is actually going into Hollywood productions, this workflow, that you animate with 3D, you render the video, you put that into an AI generator, and then you sort of like get AI to render the final visual effects and add textures and lighting and everything.
People are asking, can I make an animation of all the images in the grid all together? So I'm assuming people mean on variations.
Yes.
I guess that you can queue them, right? And select the video and you will get them. So easy peasy. When creating videos, are there ways to have more control over what happens between the first and last frame?
Yeah,
That's
I mean, actually, one of the things, I'm actually not sure how this is going to be implemented, but I read in the documentation of Kling 3 that they will have a setting that will allow you to sort of like use a slider for how much prompt adherence you want. So if you have a start and end frame and you're putting in a prompt, you will have an option to say how much should it try to respect the prompt and how how loose should it use it. So that's going to be like a new control for Kling 3.
Yep. Then people are asking about credits, how many credits uses a flow like the one you showed. So depending on the models, on the steps.
Let's just check.
We can get the data. So in the meantime, I'm going to go through some quick questions. People want to know if you can create a list of camera angles for a multi-angle scene. You can definitely prompt it on the variations mode. So
yep.
That's a quick yes. Do I need to spend credits separately for each scene? Credits are based on the generation itself. So depending on how many generations you're doing, that is the credit consumption. Also, before I forget, because I tend to forget things, I don't know if you guys know that we are running a super crazy deal right now on the promo licenses, that you can get 2 years of annual promo or annual pro account with an 85% discount. So like that's massive. And I think it's like a 24-hour-ish deal. So, I'll be running to get my pro account before the offer is done. But yeah, before I forget that, do you have the data for your workflow, Martin?
Let me
The
just show
credits?
you, like, so, for example, I'll just share my screen. So there's an example here, like just this setting. I'm not sure. Can you, Easy, maybe you can show my screen? So just like the questions about, like, these, whenever you're running list and you want to run multiple generations, you can see here, it says 750 credits, for example, to run these, create these tenants. Okay. And then if I guess if I change the resolution, yeah, it goes up, right? So resolution has a big impact.
Yeah, definitely. Okay,
but
more
for
questions.
Files, you don't need necessarily high resolution. So
yeah, if not, you can then add a Magnific node as well, no? So to upscale anything that you might need at the end. So that's also handy. Is there a workflow that produces a storyboard and then the storyboard feeds a video that creates the clips for each of those storyboard clips?
Yeah. So what you do is, if Easy can get the screen back, yeah. So you can go in here and then you can say storyboard. We probably can't see this quickly, but it will create the storyboard here, and then I'll have the storyboard in the list here, and then I can basically say, first of all, I can pull out all the different images individually if I want to run, specific prompts for them. But there's actually a way where you can say video generator like this, and this is a really clever thing. So let's say you want to run a different prompt for every item in your list. You can actually create a list node next to it, and these will sort of like be pairs. So you can say, okay, I have my storyboard, and then you can say, okay, for the first image in my storyboard, I want this prompt, and then maybe for the next item in the storyboard, I want a different prompt. So these items will basically be paired. So item number 1 in this list will be paired with item number 1 in this list. So you can actually work with, lists of both prompt and reference images and combine them. So so you will avoid having, multiple copies of video generators and lots of reference images, and just keeping everything way more, under control here. Great. We have more questions. Let's see.
Yeah, we do have more questions. Some of them, there's one that mentions, how can we create multiple assets at once, like multiple inputs, for example, if I'm doing real estate images? So to generate, I'm assuming with consistency, so like an indoor space, I think variations would be also good for it.
Multiple, if you talk about multiple reference images, sort of like as an input, that is pretty easy. That would be like either connecting them individually. So let's say you have let's just pretend that this is, so this guy and this guy, let's say these are my reference images. You can always create a connector like this individually, or as I showed earlier, you can also just group them and then just connect this, right? So if these are like, your images of a house or whatever, you can always do that. So let's see, any more questions?
Yep. So another question is, so if I create a video with a template, so I'm assuming like the templates we saw at the beginning in the AI image generator, it mentions if we will have consistency in the video as well. So I'm assuming, yes, within the assets, no, in the template.
Yeah. So if you're running, if you're using a template, you would be generating a video over again. So basically, like, the video model will not know that you are using a template. It's sort of like just a template that works at prompt level. If you really want consistency, the approach is very often to work with this kind of multi-shot approach. So you're kind of like doing a video in with a single prompt, and that's sort of like a really good way to get character consistency in both the voice and the look of the characters. But of course, you can get pretty good character consistency, you know, if you're using really good reference images for your video. And I think also like the Kling 03 approach, where instead of like thinking in start and end frame, you're actually thinking in a reference image for each frame of the video. It's a really great way to get character consistency, even if your character is moving in and out of the camera angle or the camera. So you can actually have a character moving out of or going into the frame, even if it's not in like the start frame, for example. So yeah, experiment, like, you know, there's no like right now there's not like one model that does everything perfectly. So sometimes you need one model, sometimes another one.
It's all about experimenting, testing, definitely. So yeah, I think that we're at the end of our session. We're a bit over time. Thanks everybody who joined. Thanks for all the questions. Feel free to also drop them on our Discord server. So we'll be happy to keep the conversation going. We're in X, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Discord. So happy to see you there. And thank you, Martin, for everything.
Thank you. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Ink. He is I'm a big fan of some of these creators online. And the image that you saw in the background, this character is a character by him, and he does these amazing things. So I think we also saw some amazing creators today. So go follow them on whatever social media platform you're on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. See you in the next one. Bye.